I'm just going to jump right into this. I've got the Manticore with the M15 coil out in the water, and I've began logging hours on this M15 coil for the purpose of trying to create a little bit of uh, comparable testing environment with the Beach Hunters report card I did last year. If you haven't looked at it, go through my videos, and there's a link to one of my websites, bountypicker.com, which is a screenshot of the post I made on one of the metal detecting forums. So essentially, one of the issues that I've encountered with the Manticore is what I'm guessing is a water grounding issue, and it seems to only be happening with my M15 coil. The issue is that I believe that the ground tracking is having an issue trying to handle the transition when the water level first makes contact with the coil, okay, with the coil connector here. And what happens? One of the things that happens is you're running it, with a range of essentially 35, right? Now I know once you start getting into 35, it's erratic, right? But you do have that range, that full range of 35. I've never actually run the Manticore as high as I did today on the 25, but it's also because of the water conditions being favorable. And so I've done the noise canceling, and I'll certainly be happy to do it again. And I've done the ground balancing. So, and I just want to show you here that I got the ground tracking on, but I'm going to ground balance again. Right, so it's pretty quiet. Now the only thing I can't do, unfortunately, is I can't unhook the audio because the back just got wet while running the test before I did the video, and I don't want to unplug it because there's just enough of a there's just enough water there that I don't want it getting into that audio port. But what I want you to do is I just want you to fix your eyes on what happens when the water level here makes contact with this. Look at the screen, and so what it does is it actually starts to register like there's something in the water, and I know you can't hear it, and I've got the underwater boost right now, but there's nothing in that area where I'm waving. What it's doing is it's registering usually 1 to around 6. I've seen it go as high as 8, which, you start getting into the kind of jewelry range, right? Like there's a 7. Okay, now I have it at 21, right? So technically, I wouldn't think that is a sensitivity level that's hot, right? That's technically what I think is happening here. That the coil is registering as something due to the multi-frequency, due to the settings of the machine. It's running hot at 21. So I've managed to figure out that the only way to stop that from happening, and I'm just going to show you again. I'm going to focus on that area there, and I'm just going to wave it, and look at the screen. Right, so it's telling me that there's something in the ground, but there's nothing there. And so now I got 21. I'm going to bring it down to 15, right? And the problem goes completely away, right? It's not doing that anymore. Now, the other thing that's worth noting is that if I submerge the head completely, the problem also goes away. But if you're working that transition point, which is usually around, like a really kind of good area, either because of a shoal, dropping at just the right depth that you'd kind of want to really work that area, or if you kind of want to run horizontally to the shoreline, it's going to be a problem. So I guess the quip that I have is I feel like 15, and I could run it at 16, and it's fine too, right? I should mention that too. 16 is fine, but in certain conditions, you can just hear enough of a chatter where it just makes sense to drop it to 15. 15 is less than 30, is then less than half of 35. So in order to run this M15 coil in the water without that chatter, I've got to drop it down to 15. And right now, today's conditions are favorable to keep it at 16 if I wanted to. And I could certainly toggle once I get past that transition point. I could certainly toggle back up to 21 if I wanted to, but this shouldn't need to be happening. This is something that Manticore knows. I mean, Minelab knows is happening with the Manticore. There are people that have kind of quietly been posting about this in really kind of obscure posts online, talking about it only happening in saltwater. That's not true. I'm in freshwater. It's happening in freshwater too. And they're saying that it's happening with the M11 and M9 coils as well. Minelab, if you're watching this, you really need to fix this problem, because even though I feel that the 16 will help me in shallow target situations, what I'm concerned about is in condensed sand when I'm working in shoals where the machine's depth needs to be at least at a range of 21 where it doesn't cause that issue, right, of falsing in the water. I really believe that you guys need to tackle this as an update, a proper update. And in case anybody encounters this, rather than just sending the whole unit in or thinking that there's a problem with your coil or your head, it's not. It's the machine that is not able to properly handle that transition of water level as soon as it makes contact with that coil, because the coil is running so hot. And I'd understand if I was running it at 25 or 26 or 27, but at 15 or 16, not a chance. And so for that reason, I'm going to continue with the review of the machine for the report card, but I really feel that sets the machine back as far as a capable water hunter. Thanks for watching, and I hope this review will be helpful to anybody that has been encountering this issue. And of course, feel free to comment in the channel, in the comment section. I'd like to hear from people that may have encountered this. Some people are also talking about the possibility that it has something to do with the recovery speed. I have not encountered this issue at all with the M11. It only started to appear when I got the M15. And last year when I did the report card, I compared it to the LG35, and I felt that it was a little unfair to the Manticore because the M15 wasn't yet available in Canada. Now that I've got the M15 coil, I was not prepared to deal with this quip, and I'm struggling to understand why this is something that cannot be addressed. So if you guys have encountered it with other coils and you've come up with other remedies, I'd like to hear it. But I mean, I do not want to do anything to this machine. I've already had it in service with minor little issues, and Minelab's been great, but I feel like this is one where they might decide to just kind of leave it, because there's not going to be a lot of guys water hunting with it, and they're probably just fine with just hearing a few people belly aching about having to drop it down to lower than half of the sensitivity range. That's fine. It is something that I'm prepared to work with, but I just feel that there's going to still be people that are going to be completely wondering what they're missing when they're running the sensitivity that low. Okay? Thanks again, everyone.